They say Gen Z is lazy. They say they're entitled. They say they don't want to work. But what if I told you that everything you think you know about their work ethic is wrong? What if their so-called laziness is actually a masterclass in efficiency that we, older generations, failed to learn? For decades, I've sat in boardrooms, climbed the corporate ladder, and seen generations come and go. I'm from the generation that believed the office was our second home. We wore our long hours like a badge of honor. We subscribed to the hustle culture before it even had a name. We were told that if you worked hard, kept your head down, and paid your dues, you'd be rewarded. Your loyalty would be repaid with stability, a pension, and a gold watch at the end of a long, fruitful career. But how did that turn out for many of us? For our friends? For our colleagues? We sacrificed family dinners for late-night meetings. We missed school plays for business trips. We put our mental and physical health on the back burner, all for the promise of a future that, for many, never fully materialized. We saw colleagues, loyal for 20 or 30 years, get laid off in a heartbeat when the company needed to restructure. We saw pensions disappear. We saw the dream of a secure retirement become just that, a dream. And who was watching us? Who saw these sacrifices and the often disappointing results? The kids, our kids, the ones we now call Gen Z. They had front row seats to the burnout of their parents. They saw us come home exhausted, stressed, and disillusioned. They learned from our mistakes. So when a 23-year-old says they're quiet quitting, it's not because they're lazy. It's because they refuse to give 150% of their effort for 100% of their pay. They saw us give our all for a company that saw us as replaceable. So they do exactly what's in their job description and nothing more. Is that not fair? They're not quitting their job. They're quitting the idea of going above and beyond for an employer who likely won't reciprocate that loyalty. They're not just working their wage, they are protecting their peace. They are drawing boundaries that we never dared to draw. Remember that feeling of dread when your boss called you at 8 p.m. on a Friday? Or that email that ruined your Sunday? Gen Z looks at that and says, no, thank you. They understand that their time is a finite resource, and they're not willing to donate it for free to a corporation. They value their mental health, their hobbies, their relationships outside of the office. And frankly, they should. It's a lesson we should have learned a long time ago. Let's talk about job hopping. We were taught that staying at one company for a long time was a sign of loyalty and stability. But Gen Z sees it differently. They see that the biggest pay raises don't come from annual performance reviews, they come from changing jobs. Data consistently shows that employees who switch jobs every couple of years earn significantly more over their lifetime than those who stay put. They're not being disloyal, they're being strategic. They're playing the game by the new rules. Rules that were created by the very system we helped build. The system where corporate loyalty became a one-way street. I remember a young analyst I mentored a few years ago. Let's call him Alex. He was brilliant, sharp, and incredibly efficient. He would finish his assigned tasks for the day by 2 p.m. For the first few weeks, he'd ask for more work. I'd give him some, and he'd finish that too. But then he noticed something. His colleagues, who took the entire day to do the same amount of work, were seen as hard workers because they were always busy. Alex, on the other hand, was so efficient, he looked like he wasn't doing enough. So he adapted. He learned to manage his output. He would still finish his work by 2 p.m., but he would use the rest of his afternoon to learn new skills online, work on personal projects, or network. He was still delivering excellent results, but he wasn't being punished for his efficiency. Is that lazy, or is that incredibly smart? He was investing in himself, something a company rarely does for you anymore. He learned that looking busy is often valued more than being productive. That's a flaw in the system, not a flaw in his character. This generation also has a completely different relationship with technology. And we see them on their phones and assume they're wasting time, but often they are leveraging technology in ways we can't even fathom. They've grown up with the internet. They can find information, learn a new skill, or solve a complex problem with a few keystrokes. While we might spend an hour trying to figure out a new software, they've already watched a tutorial, mastered it, and are on to the next task. They see the traditional 9-to-5 workday as an outdated concept from the Industrial Revolution, and honestly, are they wrong? If the work gets done, and it gets done well, does it really matter if it's done between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. in a specific building? They champion flexible schedules and remote work, not because they want to slack off at home, but because they value results over presence. They ask, why should I spend 2 hours commuting every day if I can do the exact same job from home, save money, and have more time for my life? It's a logical question that many companies are still struggling to answer. It's about a fundamental shift in values. Our generation was defined by our careers. The first question we'd ask someone at a party was, so what do you do? For Gen Z, their job is just one part of their identity, not the whole thing. They are content creators, small business owners, activists, and artists outside of their 9-to-5. They are building a life, not just a career. This isn't a lack of ambition. It's a redefinition of what ambition means. It's a portfolio approach to life, where the job is just one of the investments. We romanticize the good old days, but were they really that good? Were we happier, or were we just more compliant? We accepted a certain level of professional misery as normal. Gen Z doesn't. They demand transparency. They want to know salary ranges before they even apply for a job. They want to know a company's stance on social and environmental issues. They want to work for companies that align with their values. They're not just looking for a paycheck, they're looking for purpose. And they're not afraid to walk away if they don't find it. Think of it like this. We were like pioneers building a railroad. We worked tirelessly, laying down track after track, believing it would lead to a promised land of prosperity. We endured harsh conditions, long hours, and immense personal sacrifice. Gen Z came along, looked at the tracks we laid, and saw that many of them led to dead ends, derailments, and abandoned stations. So instead of just blindly following our path, they decided to build airplanes. They're finding faster, more direct, and more efficient routes to their destinations. It might look different. It might seem strange to us who only know how to build railroads, but they are still moving forward, perhaps even more intelligently than we did. So the next time you hear someone call Gen Z lazy or entitled, I want you to pause and think, are they really the problem? Or are they simply the logical response to a broken system that we, the older generations, helped create and perpetuate? They're not tearing down the house, they're trying to renovate it. They're installing better windows for transparency, stronger doors for boundaries, and a foundation built on mental well-being and a balanced life. They learned from our exhaustion. They learned from our sacrifices. They learned from our mistakes. And for that, maybe we shouldn't criticize them. Maybe, just maybe, we should thank them. And perhaps even take a page out of their book. It's never too late to learn. If this perspective changed how you see things, subscribe for more insights on the evolving world of work.